Uh, yeah, man, another short video. Lord willing, this be an edifying lesson. I want to give all glory and praise to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, Bashem Kodash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, bishops of GMS, and peace, mercy, and grace to the household of faith, the election. You got Trick Daddy, OG, Miami rapper, basically putting it out there. He don't want to be identified as African American no more, you know what I'm saying? And, people, the blacks, talking, just another distraction, another thing going on out here in the bread and circus of, this new Rome. But I just want to take this to use as an opportunity of edification, just because, even though you can denounce being called, African American or one of these other false labels that our people have, been under the umbrella of, do you want to be identified by your true nationality? Because that's what it's all about. It's all about our true nationality as the sons of God, and that's our heritage as the descendants of Jacob, all right, with the Israelites. So I'm just going to look at the first one to come up, because I saw this alert and I read a little bit of it, and I was like, man, I'm going to speak on this a little bit later. But, this from Y Entertainment. Trick Daddy faces backlash for denouncing being called African American. Conversations about racial identity can be very sensitive, especially given how certain races are perceived and treated in the U.S. Trick Daddy recently, and that's him right there, looking all crazy. It says Trick Daddy recently came under fire for questioning why black people are referred to African American. That's what he said, quote unquote. I'm trying to figure out how Afro get in front of my mother effing race, the 50-year-old rapper said in the video. I ain't never been to Africa. I ain't never been to Africa. Afro or Africa. Never been there. I'm not from Africa. The Florida rapper reminded viewers that he was born in Goulds, Florida, before moving and being raised in the pork and beans projects in Liberty City. I ain't never went to Africa. I ain't thinking about going there. He continued, and I heard it's a beautiful place. Yes, and I know it's the motherland. Yes, but not my mother, not her mother, not her mother. That ain't their land. Americans' real true land is real here on U.S. soils. So yeah, let's unpack this statement, right? Because we know that the truth, which had been so long without fruit, shall be declared. And the truth is, we're not Americans, we're not Africans. When you look at the history of America, America was named after Amerigo Vespucci. All right, let's just do a little search on that. Let's just type in who was Amerigo Vespucci. So Amerigo Vespucci from Italy, born in Italy, died in Spain, was a merchant and explorer, navigator who took part in early voyages to the New World around 1499, 1500, 1501. The name for the Americas is derived from his given name, you see? So when we talk about America, which as we were taught in school, America's a continent. You got North, Central, South America. So that's another delusion, enchantment that covers not just so-called African Americans, but the whole country itself. Because the United States, it's a corporation, but people go under this false nationality of American. So the enchantments run very deep. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get that precept real quick. Isaiah 25 in verse 7, it says, we'll start at 4. It says, and in this mountain shall the Lord of hosts make unto all people a feast of fat things, a feast of wines on the lees, of fat things full of marrow, of wines on the lees well refined. And he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations. And really, that's Babylon the Great. This is that mountain, that government, that society that has that covering cast over all people. Okay, this is the wine, the fornication spoken of in Revelation 17 chapter, the philosophy, this whole, all of this doctrine, this garbage has everyone drunken and under strange and strong delusions. All right, this is not, an American is not a nationality. It's a continent, it's a large landmass named after an Italian Edomite. What are continents? This is just basic shit. but we call ourselves Americans, America. Continents are large, continuous masses of land that are conventionally regarded as distinct regions. There are 7 recognized continents: Asia, Africa, North America, South America, Antarctica, Europe, and Australia. So no, we're not Americans. This is not America. Well, this is America. This is the continent of America, but that is not a nation. But again, this is a part of that covering cast that is over the veil over the people, because the whole world is on this shit. The Americans. When here, if you live in Colombia or Mexico or Argentina, that's America. But you get where I'm going. This is just a pet peeve of mine, so I'm just speaking on it. But we're not African Americans. All right, so American goes back to Amerigo Vespucci, who was Scipio Africanus. Okay, we breaking this shit down. And the elect gonna receive it, be edified, and their minds gonna come out of this bullshit. So Scipio Africanus was born in 236 BCE, died 183 BCE. Laternum Campania, now Patria, Italy, was a Roman general noted for his victory over the Carthaginian leader Hannibal in the Great Battle of Zama in the Second Punic War, for he won their surname Africanus. Surname Africanus. So you could tell what he's doing with that. So Scipio Africanus. So where did the name Africa come from? I want Britannica or another similar site, but we can use Duck Assist if they got something. The name Africa is believed to have originated from the Romans. Come on now, you so-called pro-black, back to the motherland ass ninjas. Africa come back from the Romans. Is believed to come from the Romans, who are not those motherland Africa ass ninjas who use it to refer to a region and present. Because back in the day, they used to really refer to Africa as like northern Africa. Tunisia, which was part of the Carthaginian Empire. The term Africa Terra means land of the Afri, referring to a Berber tribe in that area. All right. Etymologies. The name Africa. Let's see what Wikipedia say. Okay, so basically this what we just read. Latin Africa, which is sunny. Leo Africanus, which is Scipio Africanus. No, it ain't. No, I'm sorry, Salakia. Without code, this was supposed by historian Leo Africanus, which is close, who suggested the Greek word phrike. Blah blah blah. Oh, because to my knowledge, it went back to Scipio Africanus. Well, you could say that because that was still his surname. Scipio Africanus, name Africa. Let's go here. That's what I wanted. Britannica, pretty reliable source. Be on point with the history. And this just edification, just being able to go into these things, because when you hear these people talk that motherland crap, you know how to address it. Let me get Galatians. Galatians 4:26. All right, verse 25. For this Agar is Mount Sinai in Arabia, and answereth Jerusalem, which now is and is in bondage with her children. For Jerusalem, but excuse me, Galatians 4:26. But Jerusalem, which is above, is free, which is mother of us all. The motherland is that central piece of the earth, that central part of the earth, that holy land, that one pit in 2 Ezra the 5th chapter. All right, where civilization, everything started in the Fertile Crescent. Not in Africa. You know, Africa is close. It's there. It's in that region. But the NLT, but the other woman, Sarah, represents the heavenly Jerusalem. She is the free woman and she is our mother. ESV, but the Jerusalem above is free and she is our mother. But anyway, Jerusalem, again, that's that major chief city, the holy city. That's where the temple was at. That's where our mother is. That's the motherland. And it makes sense. This is the center of the earth. World map. I'm going to finish in a second. Just going all over the place. Yeah, when you look at this whole map, smack dead in the center. That's not good. But anyway, man, let me go ahead and finish this. Excuse me, Salaki. So Scipio Africanus was a Roman general. All right. And oh shit, we read this. But anyway, the point was that for his victory, he won the surname Africanus. And that's when that northern region, because if you look at the map, just to see what come in, map of the North Roman Empire, Africa. See, when you look at it, that little region right there was called Africa. So that's what we're reading about right there. Let me see, where's Tunisia? See, right there, Tunisia. So that region there was called Africa. So we're not African and Americans. We're not that. Africa American. See, Africa. They call that Africa. Cyrenaica, Egyptus, which is Egypt. Numidia, Mauritania. See, so that Africa was named after Scipio Africanus. So when you look at the term African American, that came from Jesse Jackson. Feeling good. The sun coming out now. All praise to Yahweh Shem Yahushua for that. That came from Jesse Jackson back in the 80s, if I'm not mistaken. 34 years ago, a group of black leaders led by Reverend Jackson, that should keep tongue twisting, Jesse Jackson announced that black people would like to be called African Americans instead of blacks. And to this day, I don't really hear nobody use that African American term unless they're trying to be like smart and civil and or whatnot. But everybody just say blacks, man. Just as we were called, anyway, I ain't even finna read this shit. But this is the proverb and byword of the curses. And I had went into that at camp the other day, which I'm probably gonna touch on it now, but Deuteronomy 28 and is it 45? No, not 45. Yeah, this would be a good time to go into it because this is a fulfillment of that curse. Deuteronomy 28:37, and thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whither the Lord shall lead thee. And when you go into byword, because where did I see that definition at? Was it the etymology? I was like, damn, this is dope. Byword. Proverbially, something that is proverbial. Might have been a definition. Look, a word or phrase associated with some person or thing, a character. See, yeah, and we're associated with black, African American, even though it's not a land. See, when you have a nationality, the nationality associates you with culture, with land, with history, with heritage, with an identity. But when you hear black, that's why there's so much confusion surrounding it. You see the mulattoes, the mixed race people, the Kamala Anderson, whatever her name is. I'm about to say Kamala Henderson, Pamela Anderson, whatever her name is. She was a so-called black woman, but she it's just a bunch. But she identifies more with the Indian Hindu shit. But, you know, she's a black woman. It's just a bunch of confusion. That's what's associated with black. And we actually fulfilled this by being associated with all of this goddamn confusion. When you say black and African American, you really don't have a clear-cut, definitive, textbook response to what that is. What's the history of the people? What's the culture of these people? What's the heritage? What's the look? Because nations have phenotypes. They have looks. They have land masses that they can associate and identify with. But we are byword. We're associated with words that have no relevance to nothing. It says a word or phrase used proverbially, common saying, an object of general reproach, derision, scorn. And that's what is associated with blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans. They're not, people don't take you serious, take us serious. They don't respect us. They don't like us. We're associated with folly. We're associated with, just work, entertainment. That's it. We're not associated with being scholars, with being builders, with being spiritual people, with being peaceful people. We're associated with some of the most horrible stereotypes on the planet. But this all is an identity for us, because the Lord said He would, through the curses that they would be upon us for a sign and a wonder. So let's go back to this Trick Daddy article and just see what it say, how it close out. But it says, we'll watch the clip and that'll be it. But I feel them. But do you want to be identified by your true heritage, or you just saying you don't want to be that and you just want to be like OJ Simpson? I ain't black, I'm OJ.
Trying to figure out how Afro get in front of my motherfucking race. I ain't never been to Afro color. I never been to Africa. Afro or Africa. Never been there. I'm not from Africa. I'm born and raised in Goose, Florida. I'm born in Goose, raised in Liberty City in the Poker Bean Project. Ain't never went to Africa. Ain't thinking about going there. And I heard it's a beautiful place. Yes. And I know it's the motherland. Yes. But not my mother. Not.
See, and the thing is, you might not be from a place, but this is where lineage and heritage comes into play. That's why the Lord said He would discontinue us from our heritage. Because you had Apostle Paul. You got Apostle Paul here. Acts 22 and 25, as they bound him with thongs, Paul said unto the centurion that stood by. Centurion is like an officer. Is it lawful for you to scourge a man that is a Roman and uncondemned? He was talking about himself. He was referring to himself as a Roman because he was a citizen of Rome, just like today we citizens of the U.S., right? We're U.S. citizens, but we're not United, which is all confusion. We're not Americans, for the lack of better terminology. We're not Americans. Yes, we live here. Yes, we're citizens, but we're not that. Because what did Paul tell you he was? Romans 11 chapter and first verse. I say then, have God cast away His people? God forbid. I am also an Israelite of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. That's what he is. That's what he identified as. He identified as a Roman too, but he knew that wasn't his heritage. All right, he don't have an heritage as a Roman. All right, he just has citizenship. So, Lord willing, this was edifying lesson. I just want to put that on wax. On to the next one. Shalom.